recording. Let's see here. So, desktop. All right. So, you're at Cal Poly Entrepreneurs meeting number 1 of spring quarter. Be sure to sign in with the CPE portal. Kaylin's going to drop a link in the chat. You can see any announcements that are related to Cal Poly Entrepreneurs, the CIE in there. And then we also get to see who came to the meeting. So be sure to fill that out. So this is the Accelerator info session. It's meeting number 1 with the Cal Poly CIE. A big shout out to Sierra. Thank you so much, Sierra and Jose, for putting this on. And we're going to jump right into it. So, hello. Technical difficulties. Trivia, hosted by Maddie. Kick it off.
What's up, crew? This is the earliest trivia that's ever been done. Okay, so I had to sift pretty brutally in the news to find anything not related to the virus, but I found some actually really cool stuff that you might not have heard of. So, first one, there's 4 questions.
Maddie, do you want to do the answers in the chat, or do you want to do it
answers
out loud?
Let's just try one out loud, and if it doesn't work, we can try the chat.
Okay.
So first one, SoFi just acquired Galileo, which is a payment processing software, for 1.2, how many dollars? Oh, I just totally botched my question. I'm sorry. Now everyone knows. All right, so that one's not going to be a question. SoFi just acquired Galileo payment processing software for $1.2 billion, which is one of their competitors, if I read the article correctly. So that happened yesterday. Next one. This company is a Wall Street company, and they are getting a class action lawsuit filed against them that they're going to have to battle in a New York court over misleading their customers and conflicts of interest in their executives.
Wells Fargo?
No, it's close. No, not Fox News. All right, if no other answers, it is Goldman Sachs.
Oh.
So Goldman Sachs is going to have to answer a class action lawsuit now. And then the second to last one, this company just closed a Series E funding, Series E, not B, of $100 million led by IBP and Sapphire Ventures. And they do, I forgot what the technology was. It's like a continuous coding learning or something. It was some really advanced something or other. Their company name starts with a C. There's a hint.
The cyber coders?
No. It's called Circle CI. If you want to look into them, it was pretty cool. But like I read on their website everything I could, and I still didn't even understand what they did. But they have raised over $250 million total so far in investment, and they haven't even IPO'd. So they're pretty well funded, it seems. So maybe they might be doing some cool stuff soon. And then the last one is just a total not related to anything entrepreneurial. But does anyone know if in their entire careers, who has played more concerts, the Grateful Dead or Metallica? And bonus points if you know how many that concert number is. Jack?
No, it's Metallica, but I don't know how many concerts this is.
Wrong.
You know, honestly, you'd be my phone a friend. Really? You know,
Yeah.
I only said that because I thought you wouldn't put the question in unless it was Metallica.
No. So the Grateful Dead, just so you guys know. Yeah, Jason, that's correct. They have played 2,314 shows. So that's just a lot of concerts. So that was trivia for the week.
Dang, that's a lot of shows. Thanks, Maddie, for kicking off trivia. I love that we're still doing that, even though we're not in person, because, you know, you can always learn something new. You all can see my screen, right? Having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. My computer just froze. So we're going to jump into an announcement from Madison on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, so CPE is now live on YouTube. And this is basically just going to be a platform where we're going to, well, first of all, we're going to upload all of the meetings. So all of the meetings that, like weekly meetings will be recorded. And so if people can't access them at the same time, you can watch them anytime on the YouTube channel. Also, we want to have some guest speakers and some other awesome people speaking on the channel. And lastly, we'll have some videos from us, your board members. And right now we have 8 videos currently live that kind of just share a little bit about us and like getting to know each of the board members. And then we all also are sharing something that like we're passionate about and teaching you something. So like, for example, Alistair showed us his 4 little baby chickens, and like I showed how to face paint and do balloon art. And so there's lots of different, you guys should all check it out. It's linked in the GroupMe, I believe, and the last CPE email. And I can also try and put a link in this chat too. So I'll figure that out. But yeah, so guys, check it out, subscribe. It should be really cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Madison. And Madison is VP of Marketing for the Cal Poly Entrepreneurs. Be sure to check out the YouTube channel. And now we have a quick announcement from Kaylin about the Intrepid CPE podcast.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Kaylin again, your VP of Tours for this quarter. So I have plenty of time this quarter to bring you something different since we won't be able to have an in-person tour. But in addition to that, I've been working on the podcast called The Intrepid, and we've been talking about entrepreneurship in all forms. And we have 10 total episodes out so far. We have a lot more stuff coming for you this quarter. And like Maddie mentioned, we're going to be working with the YouTube channel and the podcast so that we could just give you guys more things to fuel your entrepreneurship needs. So stay tuned for that. If you'd like to join our mailing list, I attached the link down there. So feel free to join our mailing list if you're interested. But otherwise, it's great to see you guys all again. And I'm excited for this quarter. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Kaylin. I love that you're taking the lead on the Intrepid. Definitely be sure to listen to it. We have 10 episodes. And why does this keep happening? Sorry, technical issues, Okay, so upcoming meetings. Cal Poly Entrepreneurs is continuing virtually. Next week, we're going to have a brand building and marketing meeting with Jake Smith. He's the founder of Leverage Attention, which is a design or a digital marketing company in St. Louis Obispo. He knows all the ins and outs of social media marketing. He's got a lot of knowledge on it. So if you're interested in that, it's going to be next Tuesday, same time, 6 to 7 p.m. PST. And then the week after that, we have another founder talk. We are meeting with Shane Saltzgiver, who is the CEO and founder of VEC. They make a technology to make it easier to build buildings. It's like a 3D modeling. So if you want to check that out, definitely be sure to do that. And I just want to give you all a big shout out. Thank you for being here. It's not easy to do something virtually. I think it means a lot that you're here today, wanting to learn more about entrepreneurship and the Summer Accelerator. So with that, one more thing I forgot. We're going to have a survey that Armand, who's the VP of Meetings, is going to put in the chat. So if you can fill that out at the end of the meeting, that would be much appreciated. All right, so now I'm going to kick it off to Jose and Sierra.
All right. Thank you. You want to make me co-host so I can command the slides, or make me host? Thank you.
Definitely do that. Well, let me figure out how to do that.
Transition moment.
Yeah, transition moment.
All right. I found it.
Okay.
All right. So thank you, Cal Poly Entrepreneurs, for joining us today. Let me see here. There we go. All right. Can you all see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Awesome. Thank you, Sierra, Travis. I see some thumbs up. Awesome. All right. And you can all hear me, which is good. Make sure I have all my signals here. Yep. All right. Chat group is active and we are good to go. So Summer Accelerator info session. So excited to share information on the Summer Accelerator. This is the second of 2 accelerator info sessions as we transition from normal programming into the virtual environment. We definitely want to maintain community and engagement, and our plans are to commit to and host a full accelerator, a Summer Accelerator experience in person. So we want to cover what to expect, how to prepare, and give you an opportunity to learn more about the accelerator process, the application process, the experience. Sierra is going to talk about the experience. So it's great to collaborate with Cal Poly entrepreneurs. And I know we have a pretty broad audience tonight. So thank you again. I want to echo Alistair's sentiments with regards to stepping up to joining us virtually, wherever that may be from. And we know there's power in community and there's interest and excitement when you connect to entrepreneurship. So it's great to collaborate. So we did promise that we were going to give away a free pizza delivery. We were going to pick a winner from tonight's info session. And before I announce the winner, I want to go through the whole accelerator info session. So if you haven't done so, please be sure to check in or at least write your name in the chat window so we can take a poll of who's here, and then we'll announce our winner of a free pizza delivery, as long as it's not an international delivery. If it is an international delivery and you're in an international market, or maybe you're in the North, we have students in the North in Canada. So we'll figure out a way to maybe send you some Tim Hortons coffee, or at least send you pizza wherever you may be. We promise to find a way. So be sure to check in with your name or use the QR code here and go through our survey so we have an idea of who's in attendance and who's interested in the Summer Accelerator. I think there's a couple of questions there. So yeah, let's get started. So what is the Accelerator? The Accelerator is a 12-week launchpad experience. This is for the entrepreneur. It is a founder's experience. We're looking to, right now, we're in full scout mode. We're in full looking for the entrepreneurs within the Cal Poly ecosystem, the student entrepreneurs who want to take an idea. I had a student today in one of my classes. He submitted his My Class Goals video. He put it this way. He said, I want to go from startup zero to hero. And I'm like, that's the mentality. That's the attitude we want. And so I was excited about that. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for those that don't just want a summer internship, but actually want to launch a company. So it is a founder's experience, and we've tried to define it as the ultimate startup, the ultimate launchpad opportunity, where, you know, even now, so where we're identifying and connecting with and finding ways to rally support and mentorship around those teams that are interested now, through the application process, all the way through before we even start the accelerator, and then through and through the Summer Accelerator with deep engagement and support in 12 weeks, gearing up for demo day. So summer experience, 12 weeks. Our goal is to kick off the Summer Accelerator on June 22nd and go 12 weeks to our demo day on Friday, September 11th. So what is an accelerator, right? Maybe most of us, I think, on the call, being a community of entrepreneurs, are familiar with the term accelerator and incubator. So an accelerator, again, is that platform, that launchpad for support, whether it's customer development, pitch development, helping you with your business model thesis, helping you with your business model innovation, or figuring out a way to hit some key milestones that position you for bringing a venture to life, bringing a new startup to life. So if there's one word that we can sum up an accelerator experience, it's a learning journey. If anything, you're gonna learn. We're looking for those folks who are willing to learn and make the most of the experience. And at the end of the day, it is connection to mentorship, connection to high impact mentors and champions and supporters of Cal Poly and supporters of the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship and our efforts to identify, support, and rally resources around student entrepreneurs. And it's because of the leadership of our faculty fellows, entrepreneurs and residents, and the greater Cal Poly community, and especially Cal Poly entrepreneurs, that we're able to pull from different pockets across the campus and across the student community to try and capture everybody that we can who's either thinking about bringing an idea to life, is maybe already working on an idea, and just needs a little bit of a booster shot. So if you could sum up Accelerator is just that. It's a booster shot to go from idea to milestones to tangible progress that we can showcase and celebrate at the culmination at Demo Day. So incredible learning journey. It's a launchpad experience, and you're connected to mentorship. And I forgot, we are committed still to giving the applicants that get accepted into the accelerator, we're looking about for 6 to 8 high quality teams that have been digging into things like customer development, actually been talking to customers, talking to early adopters. And I'll talk a little bit more about the criteria, but I forgot to mention the 10 grand that we're going to give the teams. So it is an incredible experience building on engagement with either CPE or the hatchery. So definitely shout out to all of you for making this community possible. And I know for myself and Sierra, we're excited to kind of champion you and support you in this journey to taking advantage of some of the CIE programming. And in this case, one of our big pillars being the Summer Accelerator. So let's talk about the application criteria, what we're looking for. And we've been having some really strategic, I would say high impact, I would say very important conversations around what are we really looking for. And even now, we're starting to scout and starting to look at who's been engaged with CPE, who's coming out of senior project, who's coming out of the hatchery or super engaged there and connected, or who can we identify that maybe we're missing. We're trying to identify and fill the gaps and make sure we cast as wide a net as possible. And so we've identified some criteria that we're looking for. So obviously is I'm available during the summer. I'm available, I'm interested, I have a committed team. I'm part of the founder team. I'm part of the team that's vested and interested and committed to taking advantage of an accelerator experience. And one other aspect or application criteria that we're looking for is what have you done? What have you done prior to applying to the Summer Accelerator? What kind of progress, in what areas have you tried to go down the well? On Y Combinator, one of Y Combinator's founders, one of YC's founders, Paul Graham, has an excellent essay. I'm going to share it with my Business 310 class tomorrow in our day 2 session on high quality idea generation. And basically it's how to get startup ideas. And in that article, he talks about the well. And so what we're looking for are those folks who are digging into a well of opportunity to identify potential for a startup venture. So commitment, availability, progress, interest, and a willingness to learn. Do you have to have all the answers? Absolutely not. Are you coachable? Are you willing to learn? And we want to help you make the progress that you maybe kind of feel is you're kind of struggling to hit, or maybe is a little bit out of reach. That's why we're here. That's why the mentors are here, like Jim, Jan, and all of our entrepreneurs and residents and the greater mentor community that wants to get plugged in and wants to support you. So really what you should have 3 things that you should be striving for. The first one is customer development. Are you talking to early adopters? Do you know the profile of potentially who you might are setting out to serve? The second one is solution development. What have you come up with? And there may be teams that are totally like, hey, I came up with this awesome widget. I just don't have the business sense right now to actually know how to take this to market, but I made this incredible widget that I need help. I think there's some commercialization possibilities here, and we want to help you bring that to life. So there's different aspects to the application criteria we're going to look at. Did you make something? Have you made something? Are you digging into the tenets of the lean startup methodology and doing those 3 things: customer development, solution development, and how are you looking at possibly company development? Have you done marketing research? Do you have a semblance or some idea of problem solution fit, product market fit, product user fit? Do you have people who are telling you that they would be willing or are actively interested and signed up to jump on your opportunity train with the venture or startup that you are bringing to life. So that's a little bit of the criteria of what we're looking for. And there's a few other big criteria, but I can tell you, don't hold yourself back. I think entrepreneurs have to embrace risk, right? And so if you feel like maybe I'm not ready, but I've done all of this, I would encourage you still to apply. And we're gonna look at every application. We definitely want to cast as wide a net as possible. So don't feel like, well, I don't fit this checkbox. Maybe I'm just going to pass it this year. Definitely apply. And we're going to be excited to review those applications for possible summer accelerator candidates. So one thing I want to say in addition to that is the deadline. So yeah, let's talk about next steps. So before I get to past participants, and then we'll come back to the deadline for the application this year is April 24th. So with the circumstances with COVID-19, we did extend, we discussed and we kind of look at the pros and cons of extending the deadline, because we know there are teams that are really eager and actively interested in applying and getting that in. But we realized that with some of the circumstances with COVID-19 that we want to maybe give people a little bit more time to transition. So we extended the deadline to April 24th at 11:59 p.m. So that's the deadline for the Summer Accelerator application. And the goal is to kick off an in-person accelerator experience. We're fully committing to kick off on June 22nd. As a contingency plan, we are also looking at committing and doing it virtually. And you have a champion that believes that we can pull it off virtually, and that is going to make every effort to make sure that we have a good cohort of 6 to 8 teams that we accelerate, whether in person or virtually. So right now the goal is to do that and fully commit to doing it in person. We recognize that there's other folks that may be committing to doing things virtually from now through the rest of the calendar year. We are committing to doing the accelerator, at least for the landscape as the landscape is now, looking at doing it in kicking it off in person on June 22nd, going for 12 weeks through to demo day on September 11th. So a little bit of what we're looking for, a little bit about the experience. I'm gonna so yeah, you have an opportunity to be a part of a history of success and past successes. So my question to you, before I pass it over to Sierra, is: are you next? Are you the next one? Are you the next team in our cohort of Summer Accelerator startups? So I'll go ahead and pass it over to Sierra.
Awesome. Thank you, Jose. Yeah, so I actually got the opportunity to participate in the accelerator last summer. So I can give you a pretty good insight as to what you can expect from the program, what it's really like on the inside, and kind of give you the lowdown of the whole experience. The slide Jose has up, it's a history of only a few of the companies that have gone through the accelerator, but ones that are still running, they took advantage of the resources that were available that summer, and they used that to really launch their business. A lot of these companies are still working out of the HotHouse, which is where the accelerator takes place. More on that in a little bit. Some of them are working out of the HotHouse Annex, which is a space down the street from downtown, and it's specific to hardware companies. But a lot of these, I mean, they started right here in SLO in the downtown HotHouse Summer Accelerator, and they're still going, they're still running. So there are a lot of success stories. We have a pretty high success rate of companies that come out of it, just compared to the general startup success rate in the entire world. But it's a really cool program, and I'm here to kind of share that with you. We can maybe go to the next slide. Yeah, so at the beginning of the summer, you meet all the other teams in your cohort. So typically that lies between 6 to 8 teams. You can see a picture of last year's cohort there on the bottom. But it's really cool. I mean, you become close. You're all starting startups right next to each other, and you become kind of like a family. And so you can rely on each other, ask each other for feedback. One of the first things you'll do once you all introduce each other and introduce your teams is you'll get a dedicated space for your team to go to every single day. You can decorate it as you like, but the HotHouse is kind enough to supply like whiteboards, and they have a printer, and they have a lot of the materials you'll need. But it's really nice to be able to come into work and have a place where all your stuff's set up and feel like you have an official office space. And then we'll go next. So there's tons of programming peppered into the Summer Accelerator. I like to call it a summer camp for entrepreneurs, because there's a lot of scheduled programming. There's also a lot of free time because, I mean, hey, you need some time to actually, work on your business, do customer development, things like that, code maybe if you're doing a software. But there's a lot of workshops and presentations that really help guide you through the formation of your business, from getting to idea to maybe customer development to prototyping to your pitch deck. A lot of the topics that we cover in our hatchery workshops, but in more depth. And they bring in really awesome mentors, many of whom I'm still in contact with today, and I still have frequent conversations with them. Hey, that workshop you did during the Summer Accelerator on how to brand my business, that was really helpful. Do you think we could have a follow-up call? And so these mentors that come in, they're excited to help you guys out. They're excited to stay connected, and they've been through it too, and they just want to give back. Go on to next slide. One of the coolest things that you do about halfway through the summer, well, I'll back up. So at the beginning of the summer, you and your team and the business that you're working on, you're evaluated by all these judges, and the ones that get through to the Summer Accelerator are assigned 1 or 2 mentors. And these mentors are just for you and your team. They tend to have some relation to the industry you're entering. So if you are, working on a software as a service in the medical industry, we're going to look through all of our mentors in our entire database and pair you with a mentor who has experience, so they can truly help you, and they're there for you as much as you need them. And halfway through the summer, the group takes a trip up to the Bay Area, and you can meet your mentor in person. There is a nice dinner that takes place at one of the donors' houses. The coolest thing is that you get to visit about 3 venture capital firms. So raising money is not something that every business will do, but it's something that could be in your future, and it's really cool to talk to actual venture capitalist investors and hear from them, what they look for in a startup company, what they look for in a pitch deck, and just truly get feedback from kind of the other side of it. I can go on to the next one. And lastly, the very end of the Summer Accelerator, the thing you've been working towards the entire 12, 13 weeks is demo day. This is really cool. They clear out the Fremont Theater, and last year it was packed like all the way. And you pitch for 8 minutes on stage to the community, to people who might be interested in investing in your company, to people who are potentially going to be customers in the future. So this is kind of like your debut to the public. This is when you get to present everything that you've been working on. This is kind of like think about it like a Shark Tank pitch, but to 700 people. It's really, really cool. And again, a good way to get the name out, get your name out there to the public, and let them know what you're working on, and find some potential customers, investors, mentors, but really just showcase all the hard work that you put in over the last 12 weeks. I'll pass it back to you, Jose.
All right, thank you. Sorry to jump ahead in slides. All right, so there's a whole lot of value with the Summer Accelerator experience, and I know Sierra is one of our most recent participants to go through the full experience. So if there's anybody to talk to, anybody to ask questions about the experience, it's definitely Sierra. And I mean, no matter how much we try to do justice to what the experience entails, I think it's super valuable. You talk about building your network, it's a learning experience, it's adding to your toolkit. And I think, yeah, there probably are ways to fail the Summer Accelerator experience and to not get value from it. But I think with any launchpad event, whether it's elevator pitch forum, startup marathon, Camp Polyhacks in this case, or even being engaged with the hatchery, or the Summer Accelerator in this case, the 12-week experience. I mean, myself and Sierra are committing to you, but the greater Cal Poly and Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship is committing to the potential exhibited by you, by Cal Poly entrepreneurs, by our student entrepreneurs across the campus. And there are people on campus and off campus who are excited and fully believe in you. And in my time prior to Cal Poly was because of the signals sent. The reason I got engaged was this really is a beacon for the greater community, the greater Central Coast, to showcase what can be done when you look at entrepreneurship and innovation pathways. So I'm excited to be a part of it. I know Sierra is excited to be a part of it. And we're looking for applicants. So let's talk about the application. So application deadline, April 24th, as previously mentioned, April 24th at 11:59 p.m. You'll find the application through the cie.calpoly.edu website. And we're going to start to review after the applications come in at the deadline, prior to, and of course at the deadline. We're going to review the applications shortly thereafter with our panel of judges and community champions and supporters and EIRs and different folks that we're going to come together and look and evaluate all of the applications and start that and go through that process and start with the interviews definitely, in May. So, and then with the kickoff being June 22nd and going for 12 weeks through September 11th, with the culmination of demo day being on September 11th, of course. So we right now are really eager to identify and work with the cohort and the applicants and anybody that's interested. If you have questions about the application process, reach out to us. We're here to help you with all of the questions. We're familiar with the application and are here to support you with each question and just help you put in a good application. So give you your best shot, help you put your best shot forward, your best impression forward. So yeah, so those are some big details about the Summer Accelerator experience and what we're still 150% committed to making happen and wanting to support, especially during the spring quarter, and getting some good possibilities together and a good cohort of 6 to 8 teams. So is that you? That's the question we pose. Is it you? Are you part of the next Summer Accelerator cohort? So with that, I'm going to open it up. I know that's a lot of information, or we always feel like it is. Feel free to, we'll open it up for some Q&A. Myself, Sierra are here to help you and support.
If the ban with the meeting people and stuff keeps going throughout the summer, will this be still like a virtual program, or
if what was the question,
Travis? Like if like the social distancing keeps going throughout the summer, like will the program just be a virtual version, or how will that work?
Yeah, so we're definitely planning to, if we have to do it virtually, I love the background, by the way. So if we have to do it virtually, we're going to do it virtually. We're going to commit to that. Now, what that entails and what that means, we're going to make some accommodations and we're going to put all things into consideration with, here's the key question we're asking ourselves. I'm going to be transparent with you is we want to commit and showcase a high quality cohort of teams. And so we're trying to work backwards from our end goal result to identify and support the teams that we identify now through the process. So if we're able to do that virtually and we feel good about the teams, we feel good about the commitments, the availability, the interest, the progress, virtual is going to be a medium for us to deliver what we promised. So we're fully committed to doing it virtually, if that happens to be the case that we have to go that route. Good question.
So real quick, pardon me. Jose, you mentioned customer development. I was wondering if that's just referring to the questions about customer development on the application, or if that's something that's going to be discussed in interview. Will there be another way that we can show how much customer development we've done?
Yeah, no, I know. I'll let Sierra add to this, but I know we want to know how much you've done customer validation. I mean, that's why we emphasize it in the workshops. So we encourage the teams to talk to your early adopters, get out of the building. You de-risk when you get out of the building, right? You de-risk your business model, you de-risk your startup venture when you talk to potential stakeholders and customers. So it is something we're going to look at in terms of like, what have you done to do some customer development, or at least customer discovery and early adopter interviews, or at least doing some research to get to know who your potential end user is. And so we are going to look at that.
Yeah, and that's an entire segment that's covered. Customer development is an entire section that's covered towards the beginning of the Summer Accelerator. Last year we had Kurt do a workshop. That's why we brought him in for our hatchery workshop, but he's fantastic at that. We'll probably ask him to come back again for the Accelerator this year. But yeah, if you can show us that in your application, tell us that you've talked to people, that you've validated this problem needs to be solved, that people will pay to be your customers, they'll pay you to solve their problem. If you tell us like you've already talked to some people, that'll definitely help your case, and it'll convince us more so that you've done your research. It'll convince us that if we took a chance on you and you were in the accelerator, that you would put in the work that we asked you to put in, and that your business would have better chances of succeeding because you've talked to people about it. So I would say, yeah, if you haven't already started customer development, do that now. It's super easy because everyone's just sitting at home doing Zoom calls all day. But you will do more during the accelerator, which is only going to help you. Personally, for my startup Wave, we pivoted like 2 or 3 times during the accelerator after talking to customers. We had done a lot of interviews before then, but when you dive a little bit deeper into it and you get really, really narrow with your customer segment, you start getting pieces of feedback that tell you, oh, maybe we should make a little bit of a pivot here, a little bit of a change there. And that's why they say, with customer development, it's always going. You should never stop. You should always be interviewing people and always be keeping an eye on market changes.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, it looks like Nicholas Grant was polite and raised his hand virtually, so I'll have you go next. You gotta unmute yourself, by the way, Nick.
Sorry, that was my laptop. So you said you will be doing the interviews starting May by May. How long's the application process? By when do you think you'll decide on the teams?
That's a good question. So we're gonna would say probably in the next week or so, we're gonna put together our panel of judges, traditional folks that have been a part of that judging process for the Summer Accelerator, myself, Sierra, and a few others, and people that have been supporting the CIE and the hatchery, obviously, and basically looking at applicants here, putting together our team. I mean, we have the list of accelerator possibilities built out, and we're adding to it. The more we learn from you of your interest and availability, the more we're able to start to framework a scorecard. We actually are going through a scorecard process to identify each of those criteria that I mentioned. Are you available? Are you interested? Do you have a team? Have you done some customer development? Do you have some semblance of product market fit or problem solution fit? Have you been able to attract a mentor? How engaged have you been with the EIRs and the mentors? And do you have somebody that you can identify as a lead mentor? We're going to help with that, of course, but how are you attracting support to your startup? And have you done research? So there's a whole host of criteria we're going to look at, and we've started to evaluate and have discussions on even now. We just don't want to miss anybody. That's why we're encouraging everybody to apply by the April 24th deadline, and then within like 2 weeks, have our list of final candidates that we want to bring in for interviews based off of the application. So I'd say by the middle of May, we'll kind of have a good idea of who that 6 to 8 pool of accelerator possibilities is.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, and really traditionally, if not sooner than that, based off of the hard deadline, the eagerness to quickly review all applications, and then usually what happens after we do that is we host a spring forum where we give those that have made it into the accelerator an opportunity to pitch and present to the greater community. So we may do something like that virtually, where we'll give everybody an opportunity to come together. Maybe we'll host like a live session, maybe virtually, or if we're able to do it, we'll kind of play our cards as we move forward. But definitely by the middle of May, it should be well known who's in the running and actively interviewing for the final 6 to 8 team slots.
Wonderful. And if you did do that spring pitch, what would those pitches look like? Like, how long would they be? Are you looking for an elevator pitch, or for like that the 8-minute long pitch that you were planning on having at the end of the accelerator?
I'll let Sierra talk about the pitch at the spring forum, or at least what that traditionally has looked like. How long was your pitches at the spring forum? I think, were they 2 to 3 minutes?
Yeah, it was just an elevator pitch. So we didn't have any supporting media behind us. It was, so an elevator pitch is typically 1 minute to 2 minutes long. It was pretty much a chance for us to give an introduction on what we're working on, what we're doing, the problem we're solving, the solution we're introducing. And then, so in person, at the end of the forum, each company, each team had a booth, kind of trade show style, so they could talk more about their company to anybody who approached them. We're figuring out, if we have the forum virtually, we'll try to figure out a way to mimic that as best we can online. If it ends up being the case that we want or have time for teams to give a little bit more info, we may allow you guys to use supporting materials, since you won't have the chance to set up like a booth. But yeah, we'll give info on that if you're selected to move forward. So we'll give you all the information you need. As of right now, I'll say prepare for around 1.5 to 2 minutes of an elevator pitch.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
I have a question, kind of has to do with that, but on the application for Summer Accelerator, at the end, it says something about uploading a video of a pitch, like a 2-minute pitch. So is that because the pitch would have to be virtual, or is that like a different thing?
No, that's a traditional aspect of the
Okay.
application, is we want you to pitch us on what you're working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just like is it mostly like an elevator pitch, like, because it's less than 2 minutes?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we did this last year, even though nothing had to be virtual. It's a chance for the judges to get to kind of see and hear from your team.
Okay.
So what my team did, there were 3 of us. We, it's supposed to be kind of elevator pitch style. So no supporting media, no. I mean, if you had a prototype and wanted to show it, you could, but it's supposed to be quick. What you guys could do this year, and I recommend trying to include the entire team in this 2 minutes. What you could do is something similar to what we're doing now, right? Recording a Zoom call and taking turns talking. But we want to hear from everybody on your team. So you could come up with a 2-minute script if you wanted, and then take turns pitching it, taking turns talking throughout the elevator pitch.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions on the application process, Summer Accelerator, anything CIE, anything hatchery? I'll let Alistair answer anything CPE.
In relation, you first. I was gonna ask if it counts for units, the Summer Accelerator, if that's a thing or not.
For like class units?
Yeah. Like credit.
I wish.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no. I don't think there's any. No.
I would say
You
though
definitely
that,
get some major entrepreneur points.
I would say though that if you end up hopefully continuing after the summer accelerator and working on your company during the school year next year, you can get internship credit for it though. So you can keep that in mind.
Yeah, we have a couple people in the hatchery right now working on their startup ideas as their senior project. My senior project was Wave, although it was before the summer accelerator. I have had students these last 2 quarters working on my startup for their own class credit. So that's something I feel like as long as you talk with your advisor, I don't know if the summer accelerator itself would count as senior project or technical credit. That's honestly more of a question for your college advisor. But you might be able to, if you are still a student after the accelerator, you might be able to get like technical elective credit or a senior project or some sort of credit for working on your startup. Again, that's something I would run by your advisor or your college. What do they call those?
Academic advisor.
Yeah, academic advisors. Yeah.
How many people are usually on the accelerator teams?
Anywhere from, we'd like to see a minimum of 2 on a team. I've seen, I think in the past, there have been 5. Honestly, and those are ballpark numbers. You know, if you have 6 on your team, we're not going to tell you, hey, you got to kick somebody off. But there's basically too much work to do to just have one person. That's why we want to see at least 2 people. It can get a little crowded if you have maybe more than 5. But the main thing we're looking for, and like Jose kind of clued you guys in on earlier, the main thing we're looking for and our job with the CIE is to identify teams of students or, you know, recent graduates that are going to continue their businesses after the accelerator, right? Because we have donors giving each team $10,000. You're utilizing space in the HotHouse incubator downtown. People pay for desks in those spaces. So we want to make sure that we are providing resources to the people who are actually going to take advantage of them, who are actually going to continue their businesses afterwards. And I know the last information session we had, some of you were worried about, you know, do you give priority to seniors? Or can you still do the accelerator if you're really early in your college career? What if I'm doing school after the accelerator? And again, the bottom line is we want to make sure that you are going to continue your startup post-accelerator. So if you can juggle it with school, I've seen it done. It helps if you are graduating and have all this free time, but then some people have to pick up a part-time job because they can't pay themselves at the startup yet. So yeah, bottom line is we just want to make sure that you are a team that will take what they're given, multiply it by 10, you know, really good, just go the extra mile and continue the business after the accelerator.
Thank you.
If you are a one-person team and you are looking to build your team, but you haven't quite decided on exactly what you're kind of looking for, which teammates can help you in which section. After you apply, is there a way on how like you can add team members to your team after the application process, or do you have to have your team set afterwards? Or I mean prior to applying?
It would definitely be a kind of a case-by-case basis. I mean, because we try to give you the results after you submit your application as soon as we can. I mean, you have a very short window there where after you apply, assuming you apply, you know, right at the deadline, there's a very short window where we're evaluating teams. And I would say try to have that team member on the application. If it's like 2 days later and you're like, we have someone, they said they want to commit, then we can talk. But I would say really try, like, do your best to have those team members before the application is due. Because we want to know everybody who's going to be on your team. That's one of the biggest things we evaluate is your business backed by a team that we believe can execute on the idea.
Okay, thank you.
And if you need help finding team members too, part of the hatchery, there's tons. I mean, there's the Slack channel. You can put a message in that. If you know exactly what types of students you're looking for, Jose and I are aware of some students in the hatchery who are still looking for teams. So we can have a one-on-one too, and we can talk more about that and try to find you some team members.
Thanks.
Also, Cal Poly Entrepreneurs Club is a great place to pitch yourself and your idea and find find some people to join your team.
Thanks, Sierra, for the plug there. I would also say that the Cal Poly Entrepreneurs has a group me social chat. So if you would like to post something in there about how you're looking for team members, that's a good place to do it. You can also send info to calpolyentrepreneurs@gmail.com for anything to go into the email that we send out every single week. So.
All right, I think we can maybe take one or two more questions and then we will spin the wheel to see who gets the free pizza delivered to their house.
Question. In relation to the money given during the program, what kind of things do you expect us to spend it on during the 12 weeks?
Great question. So that $10,000 is a gift. It's not tied to equity or anything like that. It's kind of like grant money, right? It's yours to spend how you'd like. Now, I would advise spending it on things you like only deem necessary. I wouldn't recommend like paying yourselves yet, because so I'll give you my own experience. As a hardware company, it's really hard to not spend money because you need to buy things to prototype. But we ran super, super lean, and our $10,000, so we did it last summer. Demo day was September 6th, and I think we have about 500 left of the 10,000. And I'm trying to raise money right now so that I can bring in more. So I recommend only spending it on things you absolutely need, like maybe a website domain, or if you're prototyping, maybe raw materials. Try to run it as lean as you can, because the money, if you spend it on, if you're frivolous with it or if you're paying yourselves, it's not going to last long. And then you're going to be out of cash, and running out of money is a really, really common way for startups to die. But to answer your question in a short, number of words, there's no restrictions on what you can spend it on.
Okay. Actually, there's another question stemming from your answer. For prototyping, we're a biotechnology group. So did you have an external lab that you were working at, or was it still in the space provided by the program?
If you're still going to be a student, you can probably still utilize Cal Poly's resources once school's back in session, or you can contact the person, whoever runs the lab, and see if you can use it over the summer. Personally, we bought a 3D printer for $300 so that we could rapid prototype at the HotHouse. Yeah, but we needed to do some water quality testing, and so we emailed whoever was in charge of the NV labs, and we're able to get in there. So Cal Poly is like a great resource for a lot of that stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll take maybe one more, and then if you guys have any additional questions, I'm going to put my email in the chat so you can follow up there too. But if not, all right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys, and we'll pick a winner for pizza. I got all your names down at like 6:15, 6:20, and put them in here. So can you guys see my screen?
Oh yeah.
Woo! All right. Oh, are officers allowed to win?
They totally are. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
God damn it, Jack.
As an officer, I can tell you this. This is true.
Hey, who knows? Jack might be in the accelerator.
This is
Oh.
true.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. We'll contact you afterwards for your information to send this to you.
Oh
Hey,
my
Jack, I
God,
want
that's
half
amazing.
of that
Thank you,
pizza,
guys.
okay?
You do? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? If you come eat it with me, it's all yours.
Hey, Sierra,
Mm.
go ahead and run it again for a non-CPE board member.
All right.
We're gonna throw out another pizza
We'll
out
do
there.
another. Yeah, we'll throw out 2 pieces.
Wow.
We'll throw out 2 pizza deliveries.
Sending the real money in, you guys. Watch it be another. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, man.
There
Where are you? Are you still in the chat?
Yeah, I'm here.
Woo!
Okay.
Congrats. All right.
Thank you.
I put my email in there. So if you want to, what do we want from them, Jose? Address?
Name,
Home
address, phone number, and we
Social
can let them know when it's going to be delivered. Where do we need to deliver it? That's the main thing. Name and address.
Okay, sure.
And then maybe type of pizza.
Social security number.
Any tax-free restrictions.
No. Mother's maiden name, please.
Credit card and the little numbers on the back.
Back to social security number.
All
What was the
right,
name of your first pet?
Just curious.
What street did you grow up on?
All right. Alistair, we'll throw it back to you since it is a CPE meeting. If you have any closing
Yes.
remarks.
Okay, throwing it back to me. Wow, that was great. I had fun and I laughed. That's the first time I've laughed over a Zoom call this entire week. So thanks everyone for coming out today. Be sure to check out some of the Cal Poly Entrepreneurs videos. A little sneak peek. I'm raising 4 chickens and I talk about them in my video. So if you're interested in that, check it out. We're going to be having meetings every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7. So be here on Zoom. Watch out for the link. It's going to be in the CPE email and our group chat, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of the above. And then I think that's it. I hope everybody has a fantastic night and find the silver lining. Take this time to work on projects and learn something new and appreciate the time that you have with your family. So, yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Alistair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate everybody.
All right.
That concludes our info session.
There we go.
Have a nice rest of
Thank
your night,
you guys.
Bye, Sam.
Bye.
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 Bye.